Welcome to another episode of Sneaks, Rhymes, and Life. I am your host, Lionel McDonald. Um, a few things are going on in the hip hop world again. It's Hip Hop Appreciation Month, but we just passed on Wednesday, and that's really kind of be the topic of today's episode. Um, Hip hop is now turned 48 years old. So way back in the early 70s, 1973, I believe is the year, if I'm counting correctly. There was um, an amazing party thrown in the Bronx of New York. That again, there was the Bronx at this point were known for a ton of block parties. And particularly this group called the Black Spades, an Afro-American group that really was connected to, really bringing some energy to the neighborhood and really did a lot of things, musically, but it was this duo that had come together and put out some flyers. DJ Cool Herc and his sister Cindy Campbell, also used to host parties in the Bronx. And really, on this particular day, they had spun or promoted that they were going to spin this party, and through this particular party, this is the date that we believe that hip hop was created and formed. Some unique pieces from how hip hop obviously is evolved now with, from records now to how everything is done digitally, but this is the birthplace of hip hop. So if we really think about, the impact of hip hop all over, the globe. We see hip hop now in commercials. We see hip hop, all over the internet, whether it's YouTube or um even chat groups like Omegle. We definitely see it all over Instagram. We have podcasts done on hip hop, including this one. So it is a pretty monumental piece that hip hop was birthed on this particular day. We go into um, many other MCs in the early going, whether it was Grandmaster Flash, whether it's the Sugar Hill Gang, and that was obviously led to other legends like Africa Bambaataa, and then we moved into the '80s with the Treacherous Three and Public Enemy, and LL Cool J, and then obviously Rakim and with his partner Eric B. And then we had EPMD, and can't forget everything that was then coming out of Queens with the Juice Crew led by Marley Marl. And then that led to conflict with obviously KRS-One, because KRS-One is also a representative of Bronx, and there was a little beef. But through even the Juice Crew, we got Craig G and Master Ace, which was a new member to the crew. But we had Big Daddy Kane, obviously, and Cool G Rap that kind of rounds out the crew on top of Roxanne Shante and others. So the history of hip hop is pretty amazing. Um, and if I kind of give you some of the details of some of the things that happened as hip hop kind of got going. um you know Cool Herc used to live in this apartment at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue. And he threw a little party, but then the things grew on again on September 11th, 1973. DJ Cool Herc, and again his sister, started to play, tried to extend beats with the use of two records, and then using also breaks within that. This is something that was groundbreaking, something never done. That this was like the original birth of turntabling, and also creating a beat breaking. So this has also then become, call it the foundation or the essential element of hip hop, and this is, the DJ. I think then, other elements got added. Obviously, then we got, fast forward a few years later, and that's when scratching by Grand Wizard Theodore was introduced, and that was in addition um to the culture, and that the DJs would spin records and then play two at a time and pull them back, but then also add a scratching element to it. I think then we look at some of the other elements, and hip hop music or rap music would not be the same without the element of emceeing. So at first, and essentially it's like spoken word, and but essentially it's rhyming but also wordplay. um and it started again as spoken word without a beat, but that became a natural marriage where this spoken word was done over the beat, and MCs in the early days tried to rhyme on beat. Obviously, there's some legends like Koji Rap and Lord Finesse that are been able to go on beat, off beat. That obviously has led to others following suit. So this is one of the, again, the basic elements. And then as this spoken word evolved, the rhymes became more boastful. They were competitive. Obviously they talked about social and political views, and then obviously what was reflecting in many of the urban neighborhoods that we saw within the United States, predominantly. You throw in some of the other elements that kind of go together, b-boying and graffiti, when you talk about some of those elements that tied into the music, tied into what we are saying, tied into how you felt about um, the culture and the popular. You think back to Tony Tone of the Cold Crush Brothers, and he really said, I think he stated that hip hop saved a lot of lives, given them really purpose and an opportunity to do things differently and better, and ultimately gave people um, a reason to live in so many words. So, again, as we move through the 90s, gangster rap and some other things became relevant. That was, heavily influenced by a variety of different artists, but I think really, NWA and some of the others really took that whole thing to a whole nother level. Um, obviously that you saw with the things that that came out of the NWA camp, whether it was Dr. Dre, which is one of the most recognizable and wealthiest people in hip hop culture, Ice Cube, which is one of the most influential um, and recognizable people, and obviously the late Eazy-E, had a big portion along with MC Ren. So that led to obviously other things like Wu-Tang and Nas and Jay-Z and Biggie and so many other people. And obviously the styles changed from, really hardcore street rap to some of the other things that are out there. But hip hop is special. Hip hop is something um, that you really can't ignore or deny its true impact on what's happening in the world.